Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 picks that I did to close out this week. And what I did was this morning I transferred over $100 into my M1 taxable stock brokerage account and picked 5 of those stocks, put $20 into each of those. Before we get into that though, I'll just show you the performance of the portfolio over the last year. We can see we're up nearly 19% at 18.97%. We'll do year to date here. And at 12.71% last 3 months, up 3.63 over the last month, up over 4%. We'll take a look at the last week and we can see we're down 2.1%. And then today I think we've had a little bit of a recovery, 0.26%. But when you zoom back out to the 1 year, though, it looks like this portfolio is definitely trending upwards as you go to the right. Of course, there's a few downward trends here as well. We can see here, though, we've had a high at 260, but we're back into the 250s at 256, 141. But this is live, so this will be going up and down as the stock market is active right now. So let's jump into the activity log. We'll see what those 5 stocks were. You can see here's my deposit this morning, $100, and then the morning trading of 5 buys. And first up was Merck, and then HP, F&F, Broadcom, and then JP Morgan. So those are the 5 buys. And what I'm doing is not investment advice. These are just stocks I chose to add a little bit more to. So these are fractional shares, not one of these is going to be a whole amount. So you can see 0.16 of a share there for Merck. HP's can be a little bit more at just over half a share. But we're going to see, though, even these little incremental buys are going to move the needle a little bit. So about a third of a share there for F&F. And I wish M1 had a better way of kind of going back. I have to go back into it every time. Broadcom, 0.14 of a share. And we'll see with JP Morgan at almost 0.1 of a share at 0.09. We can see that. So we're going to jump over to my Google Docs spreadsheet, and I've got this at 90%. Let me know, guys, if you can see this, if I need to zoom in even more. And what we're going to do is we're going to see in a little bit what this did to my my dividend income, and also what the next dividend is going to be for these 5 different stocks where I bought fractional shares. And you can see here with JP Morgan, we'll look at this and we can see the number of shares I own. Here's the market value, here's my cost basis, and here's my gain or loss, and that includes dividends. And here's the percent gain or loss, and right now I put the threshold at 25%, so any investment over 25% is going to be in the green. And we can see the dividend per share. This is quarterly for JP Morgan. They pay quarterly. Here's the current yield if you were to buy more shares today. And here's the yield on my cost. And the yield on cost for me is higher because I have a gain in this investment. And here is the pay date. And it paid me last on July 31st. So for a quarterly dividend paying stock like JP Morgan, it's going to be paying me again at the end of October. And they just haven't announced their new dividend date. And once they do, I'll change the pay date, and then I'll sort this by the pay date. You can see everything is arranged here by the pay date. And we can see here is, I put this in here, the 719, and the next dividend is going to change for each of these once I import the new data into this sheet, which I'm going to do here in just a second. And just going to show you really quickly, in September, we received some dividends. So I've received $49.01, and since today is the 6th, we don't have the dividends yet. They're going to arrive tomorrow morning. So Saturday morning I'm going to wake up and receive 3 new dividends, and that's from Amgen, Yum Brands, and Southern Company. We'll do a quick count up of what those are going to be. we can see. So on Saturday morning, I'll receive $27.40. So what I'll do then is I'll drip those right back into Amgen, Yum, and Southern. So on Monday morning, I'll also deposit $100, let M1 do the stock picking for me based upon my allocations, but also these drips will show up, and these dividends the next time in December, approximately in the 7th, these dividends are going to go up just with the dividend drip there. Just going to scroll down. We can see the other ones where I've put in the dividend of what it would be if I didn't buy more fractional shares. So this is going to change for Broadcom, as well as FNF and HP and Merck. So we're going to see those change, and we're also going to see the monthly, quarterly, and annual cash flow change. We can see we're at 10.10.62. So I just notated that there. So this is going to go up once I import the data from M1. We'll go back to M1. We'll go to the holdings tab, and I'll leave a link below to my pies for M1 so you can see what I'm invested in and what percentage. So you can see everything here is arranged from the largest holding, which is SCHD, to the smallest. We're going to grab all that data, and what it's going to do is it's going to update my sheet with the new shares for these 5 holdings where I bought more fractional shares, and it's also going to update the average price cost basis as well. So back to my Google Docs spreadsheet. We'll go to the M1 data tab, do a paste special here, values only, and again it's going to change the number of shares, cost basis, and my average share price for those 5 investments where I bought fractional shares. Back to the dividend portfolio tab, you can see here it did update that with the monthly cash flow average. We went from 10.10.62 to 10.10.83. We're going to update that on my monthly average dividend tracking tab. But before we do, we're going to take a look at the individual portions here, where we can see JP Morgan. The last dividend was 7.19, and now it's going to be 7.29. I'm going to scroll over here too, so we can take a look at the increases. Some of these have some increases coming up soon, so I'll delete that. And scroll down here to the next one, which is Broadcom. So going from 7.07 to 7.15, and Broadcom again, well, it'll pay at the end of December, but also they're going to be announcing a dividend increase. So if Broadcom does a 14% dividend increase, it's going to be at least 70-80 cents more on top of that 7.15. Same with FNF. They're likely to increase their dividend in November. We'll see if they do another 7%. But as it stands, it'll be 9.19 next time, plus whatever dividend they announce in November. Could be a 7% increase, so we'll see. Could get above the $10 mark with FNF, but we'll see. And then next up is HP, and 6.68 was the last dividend. It's going to be 6.84, but also HP is scheduled to do another dividend increase in November, so we'll see that likely go up as well. And also the case with Merck, going from 9.38 to 9.51, also with a likely dividend increase in November, but we'll see. That's not guaranteed. Again, we can see here, here's the 10.10.62 now to 10.10.83. So we're going to carry this over, the 10.10.83, over to the monthly average dividend tracking tab. Scroll all the way down here. And the purpose of this tab is to track the progress of the dividend income. And with the $100 deposit, it added an additional 21 cents going forward. So that stacks on top of what it was at the 10.10.62 to 10.10.83. And that's every month going forward. I'll get an additional 21 cents added to the portfolio. And that does not include the dividend increases, things like that. So that's just the 21 cents there. So you can see here it just keeps stacking up, and we can see it's either deposits or it's dividend drips or it's dividend increases as well. You can see Illinois Toolworks, and then recently, yesterday, Verizon announced a 2% dividend increase, so that actually kicked it up even more than the $100 deposit. Just the dividend increase, a small one from Verizon, which is a usual 2%, increased my dividend income 36 cents every single month going forward. So let's move on to the dividend tracker tab. I've been doing these videos since January 2021. Here's the starting portfolio value. Here are the dividends that were paid to me in that month. And you can see they just keep increasing and building and snowballing. We are in September 2024. Here's the portfolio value. You can see we've dropped from August. We were over the 260 mark when we closed out August. And here's the dividends from August from this portfolio alone. Here are the dividends so far in September. We just started in the first week. And here's the Q3 total so far. I think we're going to be at an all-time high for Q3 for our quarterly dividends. We had a reduction in dividends because SCHD paid their dividends in July, so it carried over to Q3, so it artificially is showing a loss on quarterly dividends there. So we're going to see a completely inflated amount in Q3 because we're going to get paid twice from SCHD in Q3. We can see here's the monthly average dividend now at $10.1083. So this is like a paycheck. So I'm getting an average of $1,010.83 every single month. Some months are more. You can see up to $1,500 in the larger paying months. What it usually does is the first and second months of each quarter are the lower paying in the $600 range. You can see $600 plus, and then it's going to be $1,500 plus in the last month of each quarter. And you can see here in the first week of September, I've added an additional $4.53 of dividend income to this portfolio going forward. That's a month-over-month gain of 0.45%. And then the annual dividend, so this is like a yearly paycheck of $12,130 even. Here's the annual increase. Here's the deposit. Put an additional $100 in there, so up to $200 of deposit so far for the month of December. So to close out the video, let's go to my total net worth statements, and I'll show you the line that represents the dividend portfolio. It's this line right here under my M1 finance, but I have other assets as well. And we can see here I have a Vanguard account. Here is a nice IRA here in ETFs. Everything over at Vanguard is ETFs. You can see here I have a taxable brokerage account as well, also in these ETFs as well. And then here is my current employer, and this is my 401k there, and I chose Fidelity. It's an S&P 500 index fund, and no bonds, nothing like that. And to me, I think if you don't know what to invest in, of course, what I'm telling you is not investment advice, but if you're confused on what to invest in, I would probably take a look at like an S&P 500 index fund or a total stock market index that has low fees. And what I mean by that is take a look at like VTI with Vanguard or VU. You can't go wrong really with either of those in my opinion. They have very low fees, and this one is no exception either with Fidelity's FXAIX. And this is pretty much the last 4 years of my employment. And here's the prior years of my employment over here at M1 with an IRA. And then here I have M1 savings at 5%. Here's my 1 year emergency fund over here at Synchrony, and that's getting 4.65%. Here's my 2-month emergency fund over at Capital One. And then here is my home value. And then here's my only liability currently, which is my mortgage. So that subtracts out from my total net worth. I was over the 1.7 million mark, but we're back in the 1.6s because the market took a little bit of a turn last week and yesterday as well. So back to 1.6 million. And here's the breakdown of that, mostly in stocks, a little bit home equity, in cash. And here's the pre-tax, after-tax breakdown. And then you can see I'm heavily invested in the U.S. markets. So to sum this up, we'll go back to the buys. In case you missed it, Merck, HP, FNF, Broadcom, JP Morgan. So let me know in the comments below what you think of these picks. Also let me know what you bought this week. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video. If you got value from the video, please click the like button. Also subscribe so you do not miss future videos. My next video will be up on my budget, and we'll see how well I did for the month of August. Thanks again, everyone. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Everyone take care.